When you explain it, you make it interesting. When you're explaining, you need something like light, like reading this. The student is following it, whether it's Photoshop or Adobe Premiere. This is also beauty. Some teachers have a laser pointer and they use it from the back of the classroom to point and explain. I like those organized, like the organized ones. You meet teachers who are great. So with the laser, or you find this arrow and you can meet amazing teachers. You can point to something specific. The arrow is red. I changed it to green, then blue. Choose the writing and mix pen colors, different types and styles. The whiteboard topic is vast, but there's one important piece of information. So here I changed it to green, and I can change it to blue. The thing you choose, the writing itself, you select it. For example, you mix the colors of the pen itself, and may God bless our Prophet Muhammad. If you're here with the pen, you have different types of pens and the type of writing. And if you want to draw a specific circle, of course, guys, the topic of the whiteboard and all that, I don't want to talk too much about it. But there is one very important piece of information I want to share with you. What is the information, Dr. Sami? Sometimes, after some teachers enter the share screen, focus, Dr. Allah, you and the colleagues, the whiteboard might not show up for you. And the type of writing, and if, for example, you want to draw a specific circle, of course, guys, the topic of the whiteboard and all that, I don't want to talk too much about it, but there is one very important piece of information I want to share with you. What is the information, Dr. Sami? Sometimes after some teachers enter the share screen, focus, Dr. Allah, you and the colleagues, the whiteboard might not show up for you. The whiteboard might not show up for you. The whiteboard might not show up for you. Or the chat might not show up for you. Or for example, the notes might not show up for you. I have the notes here. For example, the reaction might not show up for you. There are some tools that are not available. Among them are the whiteboard, notes, reaction, chat, and video. How are these things? Is a Zoom version missing something? No, it's not missing anything. Your version of Zoom isn't missing anything. But you have settings, and we'll talk about them shortly. You have settings that allow you to add a tool, or remove a tool, or hide a tool. So in the settings, we'll look at it together now. You can show the whiteboard and hide the whiteboard. You can show the shadow and hide the shadow. Shows the nose and hides the nose. So any tool available in Zoom, you can see it. Okay, so I won't take too long on this. There's the word advance. And this advance is really important. This advance is really important. He doesn't want my colleague to come, he said to me, Dr. Sami. The math teacher, Dr. Hamdi, said, I teach math differently. You use PowerPoint, but I explain on the board. I asked, what's the problem? He replied, I can't write on the board. I point my device's camera at it, but students say they can't see. I advised, open Zoom, go to advanced settings, and choose your options. This is important. Here are the computer camera settings, audio, and content from 2 cameras. Dr. Sami, connect an external camera and point it at the board. I point my device at the board. Students say, too far, can't see. I said it's simple. Open Zoom, go to advanced settings, choose options, pay attention. This is crucial. Here are camera settings. This is audio, an option for content from 2 cameras. Dr. Sami, I can connect an external camera pointed at the board. Students see my image on computer and me explaining on board. Option to display PowerPoint as virtual background. For example, if you have a specific PowerPoint, this is the audio. And here you have the option for content from 2 cameras. So Dr. Sami, here I can connect another camera, an external camera, and I can point it at the board and fix it on the board that I'm explaining on. And the student can see my image from the regular computer, and they can see me explaining from the board in front of me. Great, great. So, what else? You have an option here if you want to display just the PowerPoint as a virtual background. So, for example, if you have a specific PowerPoint that you want to show, nothing else will be displayed except that. It will be your background. Okay, Nothing else will be displayed except this. It will be your background. Okay? Don't be upset for a moment. So here, pay attention. This is very important. Guys, I often use this a lot. I come here to select a word. If you have a PowerPoint file and you want to display it as a background, click on the share button and it will ask you to select the file you want to display. Here it is. For example, you can say open. Regarding this file, if there are more than one page, MMM only knows I display your screen. In this episode, focus is the only thing visible. I focus on content. The uploaded file has 2 slides, a course title and an empty slide. Like you see here, in this episode, you don't see anything in the explanation except for the focus. You're not focusing on Dr. Sammy's icons or anything, right? No, I'm focusing on the content. The file that I uploaded has 2 slides, but the slide that is the course title and an empty slide after that. Now, if you have this file that consists of 20 slides, it will show 20 from 1 to 20, for example, okay? If you click on this button, you go to the next slide. If you want to go back, you can do that too. So you have your file, and now what do you have? Well, if you have this file that consists of 20 slides, it will end here. It says 20 from 1 to 20, for example. Okay. If you click on this button, you go to the next slide. If you want to go back, you can do that too. So you have your file, or what is it now? Your background is a virtual background. Virtual background. And honestly, this is really nice. I actually prefer using it in explanations and all that. So what is this? Is this the virtual background? What is it, Dr. Sammy? Yes, it's the screen off option. So, do I want part of the screen to show to the students and part not to? I clicked on this and said share, so you have this green part here. This green part. If I do this, it will disappear. If I make it a bit smaller, it will end up disappearing. But the names you have are not showing on the screen, right? Guys, right, Dr. Allah, the names are there, but the rest of the screen is not showing. So, if I want to focus and present the information in a sequence to the students, right? Guys, can you hear me or not? It's clear. You can hear me perfectly. So, if I want to display part of the screen and the rest of the screen, I can come and click like this and put these things here like this. So now, the part that or for example, I can widen it like this. The field of view. If I want to widen the field of view and all that, this is also one of the really nice tools. So let's stop for a moment. I'll come here too. And I told you this is very important. 2 cameras. Here is my camera. Of course, I don't want to display it. And if you have a second camera, both will be displayed at the same time. And what about the camera on the board? And what about your camera? And your camera? You're sitting there explaining, and you can explain on the board and all that. If you want to play a video, just a moment. Okay, you click share and bring up this video. Are you bringing up the video and display it? If you have a video or something, okay? I won't just see the video. And the same goes for the black topic. So Faiz, what does that mean? You have cloud storage, which means you might have uploaded all your content to cloud services like Google Drive and Dropbox and all that. And you want to download a specific file or display it on the screen. You can go to Dropbox, for example, and say share and start. Does it open the Dropbox site? And you start to log in and get your files and download them. And of course, you need to have an account on Dropbox and all that. Let me elaborate a bit more on this part, because there is very important information that needs to be explained before time runs out and time is flying by. The topic is very important.